And I'm going to ask Jim to come forward and introduce our speaker.
Thanks, Tom. I'm an addict named Jim. I think we've found a new level of short notice. But I also just found out who it was that was speaking, so I made sure that I got my way right over here. I've known him for several years, and I've watched him in recovery, and he keeps himself focused on the spiritual, on the right direction and the right path, making good and positive choices in his life. There's been a lot of change over the years, and change, when I can see change in somebody that is in recovery, that tells me that they're working on what they're working on, that they're actually actively doing something. If I'm not actively doing something, I'm not going to change. I've seen a lot of change in this individual, and he's a wonderful person, and I love him to death. With that, I give you Jesse P.
That'll be $20 later. Okay. I had to pay him $20 to say nice shit about me. I wish I could have paid $20 for the umpire last weekend for my girls. But, Jesse, I'm an addict. I'm grateful to be here. Pretty much as soon as I walked up to the registration booth, it was like, hey, we have a workshop. Are you able to? And I'm like, okay, so what's the topic? And they said, living in the moment. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Okay. All right, so God opened the door and there's an opportunity there. Trying to figure out how to start, and I apologize. I tried to get centered and grounded before here, but somebody was showing me nasty pictures on Facebook, and it didn't help me get spiritual when I stood up here. So, forgive me. Yeah. But, recently my life has had a lot of changes in it. And I go back to a conversation that I had recently with one of my closest friends, best friend in the program, Stacy B. We were eating lunch, and I just found out some horrible news about my wife, and I was really having a hard time with it. And I'm like, fuck it, let's go get something to eat, because that's what fat guys do when they're upset. They eat, So she told me that she remembers in the past, years ago, in 2010, when my best friend committed suicide, and what that did to me as a man and as a person and as an addict, and how it rocked my faith, and I really turned my back on a loving God. Got really angry at him, and through the years, started slowly coming back to having a relationship with him. Then, about 6 weeks, March 15th, my mother passed, and it was extremely sudden. That was a trying relationship at best. I had to go through a lot of forgiveness, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, and still everything, I had to stuff that all down to step up and do the next right thing. And this is a relationship that was, she battled her demons as well and didn't get the help that I got. And just out of nowhere, she was in hospice, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, in hospice, and 6 days later passed away. I saw my mother take her last breath. And I remember there was a moment where I knew in that time, and it was day by day, taking a breath, standing up, knowing that I had people that had my back, a lot of emotions and a lot of anger, and processing that. And it was hard because I was so conflicted on my own feelings and views. You know what I mean? Like, why the hell are you thinking like that? What's that say about you? And I'm like, what it says about me are the actions I take. Fuck what goes on up here. What are my actions? And right now, my actions are I am being a good son. And I'm handling all these arrangements the best possible way and fulfilling her wishes. I'll deal with my demons later. But eventually, I have to face my higher power when I pass. That's how I look at it. And if I face my higher power when I pass, and I can look at him and say, hey, I did the very best I could with in that moment. And I just hope that he says, well done, good and faithful servant. Because there's only a few moments where we have opportunities that come our way in life like that so many times we can either screw them up or shine. And I really believe with the help of a lot of loved ones around me and people in Narcotics Anonymous, I was able to shine through that moment. And there was a person in that room that's in this room right now that was there when my mother took her last breath. And that was tough, man. Seeing my wife hurt, seeing my children hurt because they missed their grandmother, and doing everything I can not to change their point of view on who their grandmother is. You know what I mean? Because that's grandma, and she's the greatest shit ever. And I'm thinking, man, that's an old lady that tried to get to heaven real quick. You know, but I got to be real careful and protect them and let them have their moment with their grandmother. And that was tough for me. My oldest daughter's seen some of that pain that I had to go through for that. That was a tough process, and it was insane dealing with insurance companies and dealing with just a lot of heartache and a lot of anger. And I had a woman on social media straight up put me on blast over some garbage, and I was just like, I knew what anger and hate and what murder tasted like. And I was like, and then I had somebody come up to me and tell me that I trust dearly, said, honey, she ain't worth going to hell over. And I'm like, you're right. Because I believe, we all have a maker and we need to face him. Whatever you choose. And I have to make sure that I have to stuff that and have my moment elsewhere. Literally 3 weeks after all that happened, my wife of going on 20 years got diagnosed with stage 3 invasive breast cancer. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I didn't even have time to get over the last traumatic thing in my life. And this person that I had a conversation with, eating a fat ass cheeseburger, was telling me, I saw your faith drop when you lost your best friend. I saw it start coming back and you stepping up to the moment. I need you not to lose that faith right now. And I remember that. And I took that. And I'm like, you know what? I have to stay in the moment and just realize that the same God that I love, that has protected me and followed me and kept me sucking air, is the same God that loves my wife too. And I just have to put that in his hands. To see this woman hurt, struggle, losing her hair, deal with all the other stuff that goes along with it, it's really hard for me to know. I know what true powerlessness is. There is absolutely nothing I could do to take this from her. And I told her I would. I said, baby, if there's anything I could do if I could take this from you, I would. But I can't. This is your battle. You know, this is your battle. So staying in the moment is tough because as addicts, we like to see the whole big picture and play that tape through, right? Because it's a defense mechanism. We've done it for years, right? I'm going to play this tape all the way through so I could determine what the outcome is so I could fuck things up right now so that shit don't happen, right? I'm going to play this tape all the way through and start preparing or overreacting right now so this don't happen or that consequence don't happen. Why? Because we've always tried to look at things from all different angles and how we're going to get by on this. And God is pretty much telling me, no, you have no idea what the outcome is. None. So what kind of man are you going to be? Because that's really all you have in this moment. Is what are you going to do? It's really hard for me not to play that tape through and think of the outcome and a grim reality. Regardless of, and it's hard, and my sponsors tell me, yeah, don't stay in that shit. Don't start thinking that far ahead. Don't stay in that shit. Forget about it. I don't even want to hear it. I believe sometimes you put things out there, and that's just bad energy. And I just got to be real careful about bad energy. So I learned my job as a husband, a father, is to protect this woman from bad energy, because that's all I could do, right? Any negativity come her way, kick that shit to the curb, because that's all I could do. Whatever she wants to do with her body, it's her decision. And I just have to just stand in your corner, give her the damn ice pack, rub the shoulders. You got to go back in there. You got another couple rounds, Rock. And that's it. That's my role, is to be her manager, This sucks, because I want to be the one that fights for her. And it's only started. The scary thing is I'm afraid of what the long-term effects of this are going to be on her, how this is going to change her and my family's life. And again, I can't play that tape through, man. Just stay in the moment. I know that, and I'm just being honest and practical, that the worst is yet to come. As far as the chemo and the radiation and the sick and all that, I know that I got to prepare for a battle, because the worst is yet to come. She's got 6 months of this. We're in month 1. We get through it, man. Day by day. My humor is one thing that I use around the house a lot, and it makes her laugh. As twisted as it is, I'm loading the dishwasher, and I'm just going off like Samuel Jackson. Oh, nobody can load the fucking dishwasher up. Oh, you got cancer and shit. Can't load a dishwasher in this. Yeah. And I hear my wife laughing in the front room. Oh, leave me alone. I got cancer. She got a free wig from the American Cancer Society, and they give her a choice of salons to go to, and one of them was on 52nd and Broadway. Okay, anybody that knows our area knows that 48th and Broadway is Gary, Indiana. It's just a couple blocks south from there. And I'm like, oh, get the Pam Grier, the big afro with the fro pick. Get the Pam Grier, please. So it kept her up. She had a great report from the oncologist yesterday. So it's hard for me not to play that tape through, man, because I could stay in the moment at times, and then at times I think, what if she goes? What if her heart can't handle the chemo? What if? Oh my God, what if? Fucking ain't no what if. All I have is right now. That's it. All I have is right now. I had to tell my daughter that. Trust me, I learned powerlessness just by coaching softball with 14-year-old girls. Right? And my oldest daughter is the worst. I told her a couple weeks ago, I can't coach you no more. You don't listen to shit. I got to pay an instructor, a private coach, $120 a month for him to tell you the shit that I've been telling you for years. But you listen to him and you're like, oh, yeah, that's good. I'm powerless over it. And she's having a hard time right now in dealing with all this, dealing with the loss of her grandmother, who she was real close to. And she has a hard time not shouldering the burden of all of it, because that's who she is. She's a lot like me with that. And you're a 14-year-old girl, honey. You're little people. We're big people. You still be a little person. It's all right. Even though she is like 6 feet fucking tall at 14. She ain't too damn little. But she's having a hard time right now, and it's affecting her ball play. And and then once that starts happening, man, she's a basket case. She's a strong, powerful ball player, but a head case. And it's hard for her to stay out of here, and stay in that moment. And I had to have that same talk. I just said I had to have that same talk that I've been telling myself for days. I had to tell her that at a session we had. And I said, hey, All we have is the moment. Forget about everything else that's going on. All you have is you, your bat, and that pitcher. Forget about the whole field. Your world gets this big. Stay right here. That's all I need you to focus on. That's it, because that's all we have is the moment. We can't do anything about what happened before, and when we start making plans, man, God laughs at times, and it is what it is. I mean, we started having a financial plan on where we're going to be, and there's a lot of blessings that I could see that God's hand is still in this. As a result of being responsible and doing the next right thing and always being focused. Thank you, Jim. He's my sponsor. He's still a douche, but he's still my sponsor. But it is always about staying and doing the next right thing and being that responsible person, because I got fucking responsibilities, man. I admire, and me and some other addict in this room have talked about it, I admire the man that goes to work every day, right? Goes to his meetings, is a father to his kids, does everything he can to do the next right thing. But he doesn't have the flashy Cadillac and all the jewelry, and doesn't talk the giant game, and is able to quote the basic text from front to back, and being able to moonwalk and pop and lock all over that situation. Is not super popular, and is able to get all the girls to woo his way. You know what I mean? That's a paper champion. You know what I want? I want the man who has dealt with challenges in his life and still try to keep a marriage, and has had painful relationships as far as that and has overcome. I want the man that is vulnerable enough to say, yeah, I have made some horrible, horrible mistakes, and not be so insecure that it doesn't make him look bad. We got that salesman that comes out. We got to keep everybody, no, I'm good, man. No, I'm fucked up, man. I'm really messed up. I've had some great things happen as a result of all this, but, I cry every day. I spend a little tear session, and I'm like, God, why is this family going through this? As a result of being around and doing the next right thing, I'm in zero debt. I own my home. I own the van. I got no mortgage. I mean, unfortunately, it took my mother passing to help us do that. But you know what I would have done back in the day? When you get that money? Oh, shit. I got new truck, new this, new that, still have the mortgage, house still fucked up, no gutters, kid ain't going to school, holy clothes, right? But I got a new truck, I got this, I got a new bike, I got this. Hey, girls, look at me. Hey, ladies, how are you? Would you like me to buy you dinner tonight? Fuck that. And fuck you, whoever does that. There's somebody in this room that probably does that. Fuck you, man. You know what I mean? Because we didn't come here to do that shit. That's old shit. That's a defense mechanism. Trying to put everybody to think that I'm up here when really I'm so insecure and sad right here. You know what I mean? I'd rather be right here. Like, hey, man, I don't need to be over grandiose. I don't need to be able to go on Facebook and put a 20-page diatribe on how spiritual I am and have 5,000 people give you the like. Get a job, motherfucker. Right? Do the next right thing in the moment, because this is the only opportunity that we are given, man. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm preaching, man. I'm sorry. I just know with my experience, certain things really affect me and really frustrate me. Because, yeah, I'd like to have that nice brand new bike and still live in a trailer park. Right? I'd love to have that. Why not? Have a life with no responsibility? That's not what we came here for. Sorry. If you want to stick around here long enough, that's not what you signed up for. We signed up to be productive members of society, and to do everything we can to give back, because we were hurting and struggling and somebody was there for us. And that's it, man. I learned that here. I didn't learn that in church. I didn't learn that anywhere else. And as a result of all this stuff that's happening, Man, I've had some amazing, beautiful blessings come my family's way. I've been given huge parts of my life into the friggin' softball community for the kids. A bunch of rival coaches that normally I can't stand when I face them. Like, I can't stand you. One of them MF'd me, and he's the one that's actually getting ready to host a round-robin tournament in support of my wife. Yeah, he MF'd me because I pulled a trick play on him called peanut butter jelly. All right, we call it peanut butter jelly. Basically, I have bases loaded. When they walk, if the next person walks, that person on second base is taking a big lead off. Well, they run. They run to third, and then all of a sudden the person at third is running. Well, they're taking a walk, but they're running right next to each other. They'll throw the ball to the catcher, and the catcher will always tag the first runner. Well, that runs hers anyway. 2-run score. We won the game. You mother... Peanut butter jelly. In the moment, man, because that's all we have. It's really hard for me to really it's like, how do we really share a ton of time on living in the moment when we're just in the damn moment? Shouldn't I just shut the fuck up and be in the moment? All I can say from my experience, man, is not to play that tape too far forward. Not to try to make plans out. I had a lot of heartache as far as a big plan and my big dream for life, and it didn't work out. Oh my God. Imagine that, the resentment I still carry for that. That's stupid. I'm okay, man. I got a house, an awesome family, great kids, a daughter about to go to Catholic high school. She's mad as shit because she got to wear uniforms. But she's goal-orientated. She's focused. She goes, I want to play ball, and I want to go to this school. Okay. Good, because, I mean, we've been investing fucking time into this. I'm glad you want to keep it going. I believe, I'm going to share this, I believe that if you're a father, you're going to spend the money. You're going to spend that investment. I think God has a quota that you have to spend, period. Now, whether you spend it on school, softball lessons, stuff to make your kids' future better, or bail money, friggin' rehabs, all that stuff, you're gonna spend the money. How do you want to invest it? You know? That's my own little twist on it. But I think prayers for my wife, please, tonight. I'm scared, man. I'll just be vulnerable, and it is what it is. I know I'm having a good time up here. I am fucking scared. I am scared of what this is going to do to my family. I'm scared to see her spend days in bed in agony. I'm scared because there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm scared, and I'm just being real, I'm scared that I have to shoulder the responsibility of taking care of 3 kids without a wife because she's in bed. Is that selfish? Maybe. But it's still a fear of mine. It's practical. It's real. It is what it is. I'm scared, man. Of course, I'm scared of the possible outcome of it going bad. But I'm past that shit now. For a week, that's where I was. That's where I was, man. But now it's okay. This is just going to be part of our life for the next year. You know, straight up for a year, we're going to have, this is who we are. You know, but my wife's going to kick its ass, and I got some great people around these tables, man, that are there in a heartbeat. I have one that's like, hey, go over there. She ain't right. I'm at work. Get over there. And okay. You okay? You know, I mean, if I didn't have the relationships I have and just did the next right thing repeatedly, I wouldn't have the blessings I've gotten, man. I mean, I believe you reap what you sow. I believe that with all my heart, man, that if you're constantly putting out bad energy and doing bad things, that you can't cry when bad shit happens to you. You know, but unfortunately, man, good people have to go through some real tough times, and that's just life. I mean, whether I'm an addict or not, if I was an addict or not, my wife would still have to deal with this issue. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with I'm not so self-centered to think that, the universe is, I'm the center of the universe and everything else is peripheral and God has me in the center of that universe. No. Sometimes it's just not my time. It's time to focus somewhere else, man. I'm not that ego-driven. I'm just scared, and she's scared and hurting. Don't play the tape forward too much, man. Don't enjoy. I tell the little ones, man, when they're being assholes on the field and having a hard time, I just, hey, we're playing softball, guys. We're doing some fun shit right now, right? Don't let the pressure of the moment, ruin the moment. Take that breath. It is what it is. I have to really change my shift of thinking. And it's all in your mind, man. I really believe that. A lot of people, is it a spiritual battle? I believe staying in the moment is a conscious choice that you make. It has nothing to do with, thank you, Lord. No, it's a choice to stay in the moment. That serenity prayer we say is all about staying in the moment and accepting what's happening right now. That when we were saying it, I'm like, wow, that's exactly what the whole prayer is about. Thank you for the good things. Help me be better. That's, if I don't know if that's staying in the moment, if I have ever heard it. And we could just, I had to make a conscious choice, and I have to stay in that moment. Mentally. Every time you play that tape through, take a breath, stay in the damn moment. Take care of the task in front of you right now. Once that task is done, then you can move on to something else. Once this hardship or this pain is past and that, because it's all a moment, man. It's not going to be forever. I know as an addict, I always think, as soon as I'm in some pain, spiritually and emotionally, I think, it's got to be fucking forever. My life sucks. I'm a loser. No, you just made a fucked up choice right now. All right? You're going to be all right. I can't make a good check. Right now, you can't make a good check, no? Stay in the moment. I tell newcomers that all the time, especially guys who are trying to, from where I remember being, recovery's taught me so much, man. And from where I came from, all the responsibilities and blessings that I have right now, people trust me with their kids, man. That's amazing. I never thought I'd be doing some shit like that. I made a decision in that moment, and it turned into something great. Because in that moment, I took a risk. It's kind of difficult, man, and I'm sorry. Normally, I'm a lot more collected. But I don't necessarily know. I have really gotten a good taste. I got a really good taste of true powerlessness. And it smacked me right in the damn mouth. That saying that it is what it is. We used to say that when whatever, man, that sucks. But it truly, it is what it is. What are we going to do about it? What can we do to make the situation better in this moment? And not get all neurotic about all the possibilities, man. I know that in my time, I've been taught spiritually to always rule on the side of mercy and always do the next right thing, even if you really don't want to do it. And just doing that in the little things, I get blessed with the big things. You know what I mean? It's like a snowball effect. You start doing the little ones, and then they get bigger. The snowball gets bigger, and then all of a sudden, good things happen. And then bad shit happens in your life. But you know what? I didn't have to use during none of this shit. None of it. Suicide of my best friend, didn't have to use over it. His son, didn't have to use over it. Even though I turned my back on God, I didn't use over it. I knew the solution wasn't there. I knew God had big enough shoulders for me to be pissed off at him. But in the moment, I knew that the solution wasn't there. My mother, as much as I really wanted to, I didn't. My wife, so far, I have not used over it. You know, I haven't been in that point of despair where I felt that that is the damn solution. All my evidence in life has showed me that that definitely is not the damn solution. There's no solution in that. I struggled with recovery and relapse when I first came around here, and I learned that you got high because you wanted to get high. Everything else, it's an excuse. Period. Sorry if that hurts your feelings, but you got high because you wanted to. I don't want to hear no bullshit. And right when I got that, when I was like, damn, okay. So I can't get high when bad shit happens. All right, okay. All right, thank you, sponsor. Thank you. You know, and then all of a sudden it just turned into, no, you don't fucking get high. You do not use, you do not pick up. Period. Because there's going to be a lot of moments in our life that life happens, whether I'm an addict or not. How do normal people deal with this shit? Well, most of them get high. Right? Some way or another. But they're able to bounce back. I get high, and my life goes fucking tragic. Fast as hell. You know? It's crazy. Fast. Like, damn, when are you last week, like, at church preaching? And now you're selling your car? You're selling your kids sippy cups? Motherfucker, what's wrong with you? My life gets out of control really fast, so I know the solution ain't there, man. Nothing I could do is going to change exactly what's going on right now. So I have to just take that breath, say that prayer, cry to people on the phone, get through that moment. Because that's truly all we have, man. And forgive me if I've been a little scattered tonight, but I do appreciate the opportunity. I do. And I don't know. I love you guys. And please, tonight, just pray for my family. And outside issue, we got a fundraiser next week. I love y'all to come out and see some softball. Okay, that's it. That's all I can.
Well, thank Jesse for a fine lead there. We're going to open up the floor. We don't have a second speaker tonight, so we're going to open up the floor for after comments, and if you have any experience with living in the moment, which I'm thinking probably most of us do, but some of us don't want to admit it sometimes. So please come up and share your experience. Hey, Rob.
Well, it's kind of strange because when I came here tonight, I didn't know that they don't accept credit. And I brought another recovering addict, single parent's daughter with my daughter, and the person suggested, Dan and the people that were doing registration said, well, you know, we could kind of help you out with her since her mother didn't pay for her, but I want you to do an open talk or be one of the speakers for tonight. So I don't know exactly what the subject was, but you know that you did a heartfelt one. And you know, I got up just now because the struggle of recovery for me started many years ago. And I'm 47 and I got a little over 12 years right now, but it's still a constant struggle. And you know, for me, it took a very painful, publicized moment to accept the fact that if I kept doing what I'm doing, I'm going to keep getting what I'm getting. And on December 19th of 2002, I robbed Santa Claus. And what actually happened and the set of events that happened, the pain that I caused, which most addicts don't realize how many other people we affect when we use. You know, the people that not only in recovery, if you're in recovery, and people that are supporting you, but your children and selling the sippy cups or, you know, whatever, you know, you affected. And I was telling another addict that, you know, a friend of mine that's here tonight with me, when we were registering, it took me to be on Channel 247, CNN, and the Detroit news. I'm from the Detroit areas, and the Detroit news, all the county newspapers. And I was already a second-time convicted felon and already been to prison twice. So when I went in front of the judge, they gave me 40-year sentence. And that was in December 19th, 2002 for armed robbery. And it turned into strong armed robbery. And what I did is, you guys know the bell ringers, right? And my brother was one of the bell ringers for Salvation Army. And it's all volunteers. So I'm one of them addicts, you know, that it goes bad real fast. I like to, you know, I've heard the story of people saying, like the bottom feeder. And what I was I would feed off of other people's ideas, you know, and what he would do is, my brother was actually one of the people, a heroin addict. Most of them are heroin addicts that were back in the early 2000s that would collect for the Salvation Army. So he informed me that a volunteer would come around and switch the buckets, put an empty one, take the full one. So I got this great idea after just celebrating a year clean. It took me from a Monday to a Friday to be a full-blown addict, worse than ever. So, you know, we have these theories, or they're not theories, these facts around here that our disease is progressive. So you think, and my own experience has been, you think that you can maybe do the same amount you were doing when you stopped, which most heroin addicts that do the same bundle or whatever it was that they were doing a year or two ago and they kill themselves. Or your disease is actually manifesting, which I am not wired right in between my ears. And I've learned that this is a thinking disease. The drugs and alcohol is just a symptom of this disease of addiction. So my disease of addiction was progressing that year, or all these times of stop using. And, you know, it took one's decision to want to use. You know, that was a great thing for me to hear tonight, because it was always me wanting to use. There was no excuse to use, but I would always turn to crime. And that night I went up in my pickup truck and went up without a bucket. And a guy dressed as Santa Claus, I went up there, I said, "Hey, I'm just changing your bucket." And he's like, "Okay." So I grab it, get in my pickup truck, and zoom, 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 I thought, right? Well, he runs at me and grabs the pickup truck, and I drag his ass. And I'm not thinking about anything I'm causing, you know, and I dragged his ass across the parking lot, got on the expressway, and needless to say, 5 different police agencies are chasing me back to the hood to get some dope. And as they're next to me saying, "Pull over," I was homicidal and suicidal, was my usual MO. You know, it would take longer periods of time, but this particular last time that I picked up took from a 1 to 5 day period. I put my hand up, and I was in like my own world as they're saying, "Pull over, pull over." So my first thought was, when I seen a bridge coming, it was either I'm going to kill them and then kill myself. But the God of my understanding, which I'll stand before you and say, the Lord Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, I went off the bridge. And it was in our area, it's Metro Parkway, 16 mile and 94. I went over the top of the bridge. When I landed on the pavement, my truck was diagonal to the pavement. There's an old saying that comes from our sister fellowship of, someday you're going to hear the big, and maybe a couple of you know what that means. Well, someday you're going to hear your head pop out of your ass. And at that moment, it was a and there was a big white flash. All I remember is them dragging me back to the police car by my ponytail, and what I was told the next day, it was 3 hours later, and I didn't have a scratch on me. My pickup truck was broke in half and still managed to move, and somehow I ran, and don't remember a lot of it, but just the pop. Well, needless to say, from that point forward, I knew that it was time to change something. If I kept doing what I was doing, I was going to keep getting what I'm getting. And they ended up giving me a 1 to 40-year prison sentence. You know, I cried like a little baby, and I thought I'd never get out, ever. And I started part of the Narcotics Anonymous program in Skidway, or I'm a little nervous. Where was it now? Ojibwe in the Upper Peninsula. And that was they call it Old Stabway because 2 or 3 people would get stabbed every day in this prison. And the parole made a special hearing for me to go in front of the parole board and actually gave me a parole in less than a year and let me out. And since that day, they let me out. The miracles started to happen in my life, and it has been about living in today. And 12 years later, I've had custody of my daughter. I've been staring out the window watching her for the past 10 years and raising her on my own. I actually worked the same job in the same field for 12 years and the same job for 9 years. I'm 47 years old, and I never did anything for more than 5 years except get high and learn how to get high and somebody to teach me get high. And, it's the most incredible process, but yet, again, I shared with somebody just sitting out there by the tents that, this is a simple program for very complicated people. There's like, you could tell somebody to go dig a 6-foot trench and you give them a shovel. It's very simple instructions, but you start digging a 6-foot ditch with the shovel. And that's kind of the process you can make it. Sometimes it comes easy or quickly, sometimes it comes slowly. Well, I'm not that guy that is driving around the brand new truck or, kind of born with the silver spoon in my mouth type thing. But yet, get up for work every day to do what I have to do. And it's a struggle a lot of times. And, but to look back at December 19th of 2002 and, April 22nd of 2015, it's incredible to look at the monster that I actually believe that I was. And it's only through the grace of God and you people. And, I don't know if many of you have actually heard of like these other programs that are starting, like Team Recovery and Frontline and, people that kind of run offs from Narcotics Anonymous. But this is what works, the 12 steps and the 12 traditions. And to turn an addict like me that's standing in front of you into a miracle, this stuff works. So, I wanted to get up here and share my experience, strength, and hopes for somebody that, maybe tonight you think that you can't, or you can. And, the miracles definitely happen, and just don't quit 1 minute before the miracles happen. And I'm proof of that. So, thanks.
4, 3, 2, 1, you're done. We're going to close this meeting. If nobody else has got anything we got, with a group hug and the serenity prayer.